Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I just want to be very transparent with you guys. I don't want you to feel ignored, but I'm going to be hiding the comments for myself just so I can focus on the reading and not have any disruptions in regards to receiving messages from soul. Okay, so this reading is going to be for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, also for your cross watchers, also for people who find themselves on this live stream with no Pisces in anything, Pisces in their chart, dealing with a Pisces, none of that, yet they're still super resonating. These messages have no specific time frame. They don't expire. And although Pisces is in the title, these messages are really universal. They can apply to you if it applies to you. So let me just get the cards ready. So I'm told, Pisces, you're going to have to choose, okay? What you have to choose, I'm not sure. We're being presented with some sort of, like, I hear impasse. It's like, oh, wow. I heard do or die as well. I highly doubt you're going to literally die, but I feel like this is something that you have to make a decision. It's no longer one of those things where you can simply just let it flow, let it ride, and whatever happens, happens. Because Pisceans have a tendency to do that. Many of us actually have a tendency to do that. When you do that, when you just, allow things to kind of happen, when you allow things to kind of happen without your input, it's not necessarily that you're flowing, okay? Sometimes you're flowing, sometimes you're just avoiding making a decision. And if you're avoiding making a decision, what is that about? Sometimes, and this doesn't apply to everyone, but sometimes what ends up happening is we don't want to make a decision because we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to be wrong. We don't want to take accountability for any type of failure. So if we don't decide, this is some people's logics. If we don't decide, then we can't be held accountable. Well, I don't know. You can't blame me because so-and-so did that. I don't know. You don't have to answer to anyone but yourself. Doesn't matter what other people say. You have to hold yourself accountable for the results of your decisions or lack thereof, your actions or lack thereof. Okay. So, this reading is already starting to get intense with all the cards that came out. This is a very high likelihood of this reading being about divine counterparts. Yet again, that topic, it's like it always pops up. So I'm just going to go ahead and let the cards say whatever they need to say, give the messages that need to be given, and go from there. Okay. So okay. All right. I'll use this as a clarifier. Okay. So there's a lot of things going on with the energies lately. And my own personal process has made me very raw. And so I have to kind of insulate myself from different types of energies. So if it doesn't work for me to just kind of not see the comments, then I will have to just go ahead and record the readings and then post them like that. Okay. I hope you guys understand that I'm really just, I am trying to honor your needs while also honoring my own. All right. So let's get started. So here goes. Okay. So card number 23. Defend to the end the worthwhile. You're worth it. 99% at 939. You're worth it. Not only are you worth it, whatever this is, whatever connections this reading is going to talk about, and only you will know who this is about. But it's worth the process that's being experienced in order to fully understand, in order to fully ripen your knowing of what this is for you. So you're worth it. Defend to the end the worthwhile. There's going to be those who will try and come along, and these are just there's a high likelihood that these are people who are trying to hitch a ride off of you, kind of like how a barnacle hitches a ride off of a whale. And I mean, what are barnacles really considered? Parasitic. This is parasitic behavior. There are those who will see how you're rising, and it will cause them to want to maybe join you on the ride, maybe hitch a ride off of you, maybe emulate you. There's all sorts of different ways that this is going to present itself. No matter what, you have to defend yourself, either in silence or full on like active engagement, voicing your concerns, voicing your needs, letting people or persons, it's either one person or several, letting them know that, hey, you know, there's boundaries that you're crossing and I don't appreciate that. I don't like your presence in my life, and you need to respect me asking you and now demanding you leave. So this could be like a false friendship. This could be, ooh, I even heard false twin. So for some of you who are really struggling with twin topics, if you're like very unhappy, feeling very mistreated, and you're like, oh God, but it's my twin and my twin is toxic, there's a likelihood this is a false twin. This is someone who's not an actual twin connection. Or maybe there's part of you that never really believed that they were some sort of divine counterpart, but they just kept insisting. You have to free yourself. Card number 13, liberation, free yourself. The number 13 has been so vilified throughout history because it usually, well, not usually, it once represented the divine feminine, okay, the matriarch, because there are 13 moon cycles and it represents lunar feminine energy. And that's part of the reason why it was vilified, okay? This is about you reclaiming your feminine grace. Sometimes that grace will allow you to just walk forward with your head held high, dignity intact. Sometimes that feminine grace will cause you to sharpen your claws on someone else, okay? Whatever is right for you is right for you. There's no such thing as a misstep. I really don't believe the concept of misstep. I believe that all of your reactions and responses, whether they're calculated, whether they're just kind of knee-jerk and like, oh shit, did I really just say that? Yes, you did, boo. And it needed to be said. Either for you to hear it or for someone else to become aware, all right? So this is not a free pass to just wild out. Everything that happens has to happen. And sometimes it has to happen because you need to learn something, whether it be learning the power of your voice or learning some sort of humility. I mean, it depends on you what you're here to learn. But no matter what, there's no mistakes, there's no missteps, there's no missed opportunities, there's no wrong path. You're exactly where you need to be. Okay, experiencing everything you need to experience. we come across this concept of mistakes and wrong path and all of that stuff when we have an expectation that's not in alignment with the truth of what we're here for. Okay. Many of us have developed an expectation of finding this divine counterpart. We just need that because we're told it's so hyped up. I don't know. For some of us, it's going to be some sort of like romantic connection that is beautiful in a romantic sense, as well as all the other senses. For others of us, the beauty of this is in the pain of the separation. The beauty of this is in the pain of this perception that, oh my God, I've been triggered in ways that no one else can trigger me. And now I'm presented with an opportunity to grow if I so choose. You won't grow if you continue to wallow in the pain of the disappointment. The pain of that disappointment is trying to teach you your expectation was not aligned with what was actually planned for you by your soul. Okay. You could also experience the pain of separation. And with that, that's not necessarily a disappointment. That's just this recognition that there is a reflection of you that actually exists. And sometimes when there's that separate existence, it causes you to begin questioning your worth, the validity of your thoughts, how you see yourself, perception, your spiritual path, all of that. For me personally, it caused me to question a lot of the behaviors that I once thought was normal, that I once thought was just, well, this is just my coping mechanism. It's not a big deal. Michael wants me to share specifically. I used to have, I think maybe I still do in some ways. I have this habit of, I'll just disappear. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem between you and I disappear. I like my ability to just do whatever the fuck I want to do. Hold on, you guys. What up, bitch?
Are you on live?
I'm live right now. Love you. Gotta go.
Oh, sorry. Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, that's my cousin. Love her. So really, I didn't understand the gravity of why people would get so upset. Like, yo, it's just Facebook. It's just Facebook. Why are you so mad that I just deactivated my account and didn't say nothing? Like, I didn't give you a heads up. Like, it's not a big deal. We're just Facebook friends. I barely even chat with you. Why are you so mad? And I didn't realize until I witnessed it in a way that could only be witnessed through mirrors. And it's like, oh, that. Yeah, now I get why people get so mad. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I was doing that. I didn't even realize, because people will constantly tell me, like, I feel like you're abandoning me when you do that. I'm like, I have my own needs. Like, I'm going through my own shit. Just chill. You don't need me around all the time. And I didn't realize it's when I disappear, my energy, without me even trying, it just occupies so much space within other people's experience. And when it's withheld, it's for some, and I don't know why, for some, it's such a devastating sense of loss. And I couldn't understand that because guess what? Up until that point, I didn't really value my presence that much. And it wasn't like a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-confidence. I just really didn't see what the big deal was. And now I'm learning. So that introduction and separation helped me to really grasp a lot of things about myself. A lot of the things that hurt my feelings regarding that actually had to do with me seeing how I function. All my triggers, all like the ways in which I respond, react, cope. I was seeing that existing outside of myself, and it caused me to really reassess who I am, how I act, how I affect other people through my actions that were really just intended for me. So again, you have to free yourself from this perception of like, there's someone out there that's going to save you. There's someone out there that's going to, they were made just for you and you guys are going to have this romantic, whatever it is. All of that is hype. It's just hype. You want to have a really amazing relationship, then open yourself to being to your path crossing with someone else who is at the same place of readiness for commitment that you are. If you are not willing to commit to yourself, you definitely can't expect someone else to commit to you. Okay, you can't expect things from other people that you're not willing to give yourself. And it's not, let's not make the mistake of like having this logic be like derailed and detoured to a place of, oh, so she means if I don't know how to love myself, then someone else can't love me. That's not what I mean. I mean, if you are not willing to make that commitment to learn yourself, don't expect someone else to make that commitment to learn who you are either. Because if you don't even know who you are, what do you expect them to learn about you? That's a very valid question. If you don't know who you are, how can someone else know you? And that was the thing, is that, you know, to meet, to have my path cross even temporarily with someone who is a perfect reflection of all of that stuff within me that I don't even want to address. It was like, oh, holy shit. Okay. Wow. So you're in the world, not of the world. You're here to experience human feelings, okay? There are certain things you're going to experience in this life that can only be experienced in a human life. A lot of like the lower emotions can only be experienced in lower densities, meaning the earth plane. You're here for limited time. Allow yourself to really lean back into your greatness. Let all the other fish swim by. No more competition, no more like comparing, no more none of that, okay? Even if it's like, ooh, that's okay, well, that's foreign to me, but I'll just say it. Even if whoever you believe to be your divine counterpart has moved forward and is in a new union with someone else, not with you, don't compare yourself to who they're in a union with. That has nothing to do with you. There's no more like, well, I'm the divine counterpart and they're now stuck with their what do you guys say? They're stuck with their karmic. They're with their karmic. Oh, you don't know. You might be the karmic. You have no idea. You might actually be their karmic. So don't compare. Just take in whatever you need to learn from that, even if it's just a temporary intersecting of paths, and just keep going with your journey with yourself. The illusions have to be shattered. Okay. I'm being given this like imagery of the TFTR, okay, twin flame, twin ray. I want to say the words. I'm being given this imagery of they are a divine mirror, right? You guys are mirrors. The distorted, like, oh, this is my TF or TR, and not knowing if it really is. That's like standing in a house of mirrors. I don't know if you've ever been in a house of mirrors, but it's very disconcerting, disorienting. Like you really don't know what's forward, what's backwards. You're kind of kept in this perpetual loop. And sometimes in order for you to find your way out, you have to run into yourself a few times. You have to kind of run into walls, run into all sorts of different things. So if you find yourself running into yourself quite a bit, you might be in a house of mirrors. This might not even be your divine counterpart. This might be someone who is brought to you to prepare you to be introduced to the actual one. Now, even if you meet the actual one, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed you're going to be in a romantic relationship. You have to make a decision. What are you looking for? Are you looking for an actual divine union where none of this human, I guess, pretext has anything to do with it? Where there's not that preconceived notion of, this is the person I'm supposed to marry and be with, and because, you know, we have this label, they're mine, they're made for me. There's like so many fatal flaws to that assumption. They're not yours. You're not theirs. They weren't made for you. You weren't made for them. You were made at the same time of the same thing. But you're two separate individuals. Because a mirror can't mirror itself unless there's another mirror present. Right? And if it's the same mirror, it has to first be broken in order for it to face itself. So just because it's broken, does that mean the mirror is somehow missing a part? No, it's fully capable of reflecting on its own. It doesn't need that bottom half or that left or that right part that was broken off, creating a second mirror of equal size, equal value, equal clarity. You don't necessarily need that half to exist. You already exist. It helps you to see the ways in which you're existing. That's its purpose, okay? So the illusions have to be shattered. Card number 41, be in service. Part of the whole divine union thing is about service. Trust me, you can still get your soul work done without any romantic anything being considered. Okay? There are things that don't want me to speak these truths. You can still be in service without their presence. And sometimes they're not supposed to be present. Okay, you're supposed to just focus on your journey. So again, what are you going to choose? Trying to capture this unicorn, and the unicorn is this state of romantic connection that we keep being told that that's what it should be. I'll be really honest with you guys. I was once part of a pretty considerable spiritual community on Facebook. I sat at the table with those who were regarded in very high esteem by all of these people. And it was just one of those things where it's like, whatever. If I vibe with you, I vibe with you. And the thing was, like, I would see so much emphasis on I'm in my divine union. Let me think. Every single one. Ask me how many of them are still together. Zero. Ask me if it ended amicably. Not at all. Not at all. Before I left those communities, there was a lot of like, you guys have to hear me out because so-and-so really hurt me. They victimized me. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened. That's between them. That's really like, it shouldn't have been played out publicly like that. There was a lot of like, you have to take my side. You have to take my side. And I'm just like, y'all are fucking crazy. I told y'all, just leave that shit alone. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Nothingness. So at this point, we're entering a state of nothingness where everything you thought you knew, you now realize it probably was part of a lie. Okay. The whole twin flame, twin ray topic has some parts of it that are accurate. It is a real thing. It is a real connection. But you're going to have to choose what parts are you going to believe in, because there's a lot of half-truths that were spread. A lot of half-truths. Not all twin flame unions are supposed to be in union in this life. That's a lie. That's the same thing as saying we all have the same function. We don't. That's like saying we all have to have black hair like Emmie, partially nappy at the bottom and partially stringy frizzy at the top. No, that's not true. There is a select group where they have to be in actual union, meaning in contact with each other in this life. And that group is here to do specific things. It's not every single pairing that has to be together, okay? And again, even if they are together, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be romantic. So someone's feeling invisible, probably because this is forbidden. Okay, this is such a very complicated thing, like the sense of being forbidden. It's like an internal belief, you know, like this is not allowed. I don't know why people believe that. Everyone has their own reasons. I can't speculate as to what the reason actually is. Yeah, shit. Okay, well, I totally forgot about this. Card number 31, be spontaneous. There's a connection that's needing to be made. One is more mature. One in this two beings has really risen to great heights. They've remembered their ability to fly. The other one is not yet as developed. It doesn't necessarily mean one is better than the other. It just means the one that's more developed has an obligation to further deepen that level of assistance they're willing to give the one that's not as developed. Okay, so be spontaneous. Allow yourself to really begin questioning things. Allow yourself to move forward in your journey, not just sticking to one place of like, well, no, my feelings were hurt and I don't give a shit. So don't be an Emmie. I hurt my own feelings. I don't give a shit. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys. This reading, for this deck, I don't know the name of this deck, but this is the deck. There are 3 cards in this deck that have always indicated to me some sort of like the message pertains to divine unions, twin flame, twin ray. All 3 cards came out in this pull. I got bamboozled. I so got bamboozled. Michael told me to pull out 2 cards per stack. All 3 came out. So here's the thing. Power of attraction, card number 13. The divine feminine between the two needs to find her strength, her courage to heal the wounds that exist between the pair. Okay, that's a tall order. That's a lot to ask. That is a lot to ask. Putting in my own personal opinion. This whole fucking reading is my opinion. Let's just face it. The structures already exist, though. The structures from which there can be something built. Not necessarily the structures that are necessary for a romance. I'm talking about the structures that are needed to go forward in whatever it is the two of you need to be fully present to accomplish in this life. Pedro was flying around. So weird. Haven't seen him in a while. Oh, I'll check later. He's present. I guess a package is arriving soon with crystals for him. Card number 11, diving for light. So it said that seahorses, some, not all, seahorses mate for life. Okay, so this carries with it a message that you have to dive deeper to find the truth of the connection. This truth, like the conversation that needed to happen, I'm assuming the two of you are very prickly with each other. And so y'all have turned your backs on each other and kept the conversation from happening. I don't know what the conversation is. There's consistently this conversation needs to happen. I don't know. But this commingling, the pathways, because your third eye is a receptor. It receives information, but it has to transmit this information through specific pathways to your conscious mind. It's at that point where it reaches your conscious mind that these messages can then be interpreted. For the true twin rays, it's not just twin flames anymore, this is twin rays. Those pathways are now intertwined. It's intertwined. I'm getting that you guys are receiving the same messages at the same time. It might take one of you a little bit longer to understand what those messages are, but the messages are consistently coming in, the instructions, the guidance from soul, all of that. It's consistently coming in, consistently coming in. So, ooh, okay. So, love and conclusion, card number 10 and card number 12. So it started with a realization of a journey needing to take place, which is represented by 10. This was sparked by mirroring that was perceived as love. Now that we know and are taking the first steps on that actual internal journey, that chapter is closed. Whatever made you feel as though your heart was fractionated, that's being, sealed up. It's being patched back together, sealed up, and it's fully functional once again. So you're being asked to close that chapter that caused you to feel very, very hurt. That chapter is done. If you're going to continue to read and reread and reread again, every single part of that closed chapter, you're not going to be able to move forward and read or write new chapters of your life. So again, you have to make a choice. Are you going to live in the past where nothing can be changed? Or are you going to be fully present in the future where you have the power, authority, and ability to write a life that's worthy of you? That's a choice you have to make. And if you're not going to make that choice, creation will make it for you by causing way more struggle, way more unnecessary hurt, confusion, interference than you need. It's unnecessary. But it's up to you if that's what you're going to choose, and that's what you're going to choose. And no one can really stop that process but you. Oh, good God, cousin. Okay. So, flowering. All right, bitches, you need to blossom. I'm just fucking around. Y'all are not bitches. You need to allow yourself to blossom. Taping shut the flower is not a good idea. I mean, you can do that if you want. If you're scared of your journey and you want to tape that flower shut, I wouldn't do it. You're going to tear your petals. You're going to injure yourself. And at some point, the flower still goes through its process, whether you tape it or not. At some point, that flower will wilt and die without you having ever enjoyed its essence, felt the softness of its petals. It will just be a withered thing that wasn't appreciated. And if it's not appreciated, it's wasted. These are aspects of you that are being wasted because of your fear of what it means. For some of us, this is the message I'm getting, for some of us, the reason we're taping those flowers shut is because we're afraid of what this blossoming will do. We are afraid that this blossoming, this elevation of our understanding and compassion for ourselves will take us away from the very thing that continues to hurt us. Our obsession with being able to hurt over this. Just because you move forward from it doesn't mean you now have erased it. It still happened. Whatever it was, whether it was your disappointment, whether it was miscommunication that led to disagreements, that led to separation, that led to all of these assumptions. That's sad. I'm getting this message of many of the unions that have failed to actually connect in this life. There was so much assumption that was involved, that stories were created within the self. And when it comes to your divine counterpart, the level of insecurity is elevated because they access such deeper parts of you that their potentiality to hurt you is elevated, and that creates much more paranoia. We are much more likely to assume worst case scenarios. I love it when Michael uses me as an example. He says, take, for example, my assumption that there's hatred directed at me from whoever my counterpart is. I don't know that. I have no way to confirm that. None. It's just an assumption. I assume that because they're not present, it's because they hate me. I don't think so. Michael says they don't. I don't think so. I don't know. There's no way for me to verify. So naturally, knee-jerk reaction, oh, it's because they hate me. It's fine. We don't know that. So you make up all these assumptions about something you don't really know because it is rooted in such a deep, deep part of you and your truth that the distortions, in order to reach that deep, it can distort quite a bit, okay? Allow your wisdom to rise up. Card number 35. 3 being a solid foundation, 5 being the number of change. This is a solid foundation from which to launch your change, to reach a level of unification. 3 plus 5 is 8, the number of reunification. Reunification of your parts, your fractals, your masculine and feminine. And for some, reunification of 2 mirrors. It has to do with wisdom, allowing the things that you've lived through to begin serving you in your attempt to grow. Now, wisdom has nothing to do with hatching a plan to get someone to be in a relationship with you. We have to release that, the whole relationship thing, the whole romantic aspect, release that. If you were able to approach the twin flame, twin rate topic with no romance involved, you would not be as hurt as you've allowed yourself to be. That is a deep, deep realization. This concept of, I'm never going to be with anyone because if the one person that I'm supposed to be married to doesn't even want me, then, oh my God, I'm really broken. And are you? Or is what's broken your assumption that this was supposed to be romantic? Now, card number 30, serendipity, merge with the flow. Allow yourself to flow through your life. Allow yourself to be taken to the places within yourself that need your attention. And these places have a tendency, oh shit. Sorry, do I have a session right now? No, I'm good. Sorry. I was like, oh shit. To just merge with the flow. Merge with it. Don't flow. Actually allow yourself to merge. What the fuck? This is about merger. Okay. So, merger. One of the ways in which these pairings actually have their unions is it was never really about romance stuff. Again, broken record at this point. It's not about the romance. It's about the energetic merger. From what I know, which is limited, I haven't read this anywhere. This is what I know, conversations with Michael. In a pair, one will be the navigator, the other will be the power pack. So the power pack has brute force strength, just like raw power. But because they have that raw power, they don't really know how to fully harness it. The other one will have such a fine, very highly calibrated understanding and skill when it comes to harnessing this power. That's why they have to come together. They become a functional machine. The navigator and the power pack functioning together, it's a merger. This has nothing to do with being physically together. This is about allowing the partitions that were created as a human mind was formed in the mother's womb. Because, I mean, even your mind isn't whole. It's partitioned into a right and a left hemisphere. Physically, we were even partitioned with the right and the left. The masculine and feminine was physically separated by a partition. So this is about the merger, allowing the two to function together. This can happen within the mind. So I don't really want to say that. Okay. I don't really want to say that. Why is that important for other people to know? So I'm aware of this because at times when the threat to me and my personal safety is elevated, that partition is dissolved and full merger is accomplished. Temporarily, of course, because I'm rebellious as fuck. And that merger occurs, and that's how all of this attempt to neutralize the need for neutrality, that's how that's achieved. Okay. So, and again, as some of you might be aware, I don't have any contact with whoever that is. None at all. It's not something where you have to ask permission. Once you reach an emotional, intellectual, and energetic maturity, this is just something that is able to happen. A temporary merger in order to create stability within your energetic field. Okay, so here goes. Card number 44. 4 and 4 are two individuals standing side by side, shoulder to shoulder as equals. Seek beauty. There is one flame that stands taller than the others. Never seen this card like this, but I guess I'll go with it. There's one flame that stands taller than the others. That would be the twin ray. There are two others who sometimes are present to help further develop the meaning of the one. The one, again, that carries with it some sort of assumption that, oh, it's the one. Remove the romance from this. It's the one that you are supposed to do work with. Like, you're the one. That's the one coworker. Okay? That's how I choose to see it, like a coworker. So, card number 21, beyond the mind, the heart beats. Again, this has to be like an examination of maybe previous conversations, an examination of what you're not willing to say. Even if you feel like things have been snapped, severed, there are beads of wisdom, pearls of wisdom that are being released. You have to allow those things to assist with this elevation, like a DNA activation. It's like a journey, an adventure that you're being asked to go on, okay? There you go, card number 12. Every journey starts with a single step. So, again, within this deck, this specific deck, there are 3 cards that indicate to me a very deep soul connection that's often identified, labeled as a twin flame, twin ray. All the cards have come out. So now it's time for you to come out of your hiding and really begin to process what this means within yourself, okay? This message is not about trying to convince you to message someone else, reconcile, attempt a romantic relationship. Hey, many of us have falsely identified individuals as something divine when they're not. If they hurt you unnecessarily, not just because you assume this, not just because you are very good at jumping to conclusions because you don't have the answers, you don't have the explanation. If I'm talking about they continuously hurt you, betray you over and over and over, that is not a twin flame union. Now, if you feel hurt because of their own personal process as they try and piece themselves back together, that's something completely different, okay? Twin flame unions are not pain-free. They tend to be the most painful types of connections you can ever develop. They tend to be. Yeah, they tend to be. So it's not about you never hurting or never being disappointed. It's about recognizing what's causing it. Is it your misaligned expectation? Is it they're intentionally disregarding you? Is it coming from a place of like, there's a miscommunication, assumptions, and now one is assuming something, 44, 44, 136, 41, 73, 10, 18. Damn. So you have to figure out where it's coming from. You have to. It's not something that I can just tell you. You have to have compassion for yourself as well as for the other person. Card number 26. 2 being the number of guidance, 6 being the number of receiving. You are receiving guidance right now, and it's up to you if you will allow it, if you will allow yourself to fully take it in. Okay? You have to have compassion for yourself in addition to compassion for the other person. There's a lot of things I'm being told. There's a lot of things that have gone on that you have misunderstood because there was no opportunity to explain. There was no opportunity to ask questions and gain clarity. So again, because it's such a deep level of connectivity that gives more potentiality for elevated hurt and disappointment, it's very natural and common to have this worst case scenario assumption. And just because you assume it don't mean it's true. It's an assumption. Let's define assumption. Define assumption. A thing that's accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. The action of taking on power or responsibility. So there you go. Those two definitions, the assuming, assumption, the taking on of powers and responsibilities that are not yours. It is for them to decide what this is, why this happened, how it affected them, what their journey, it's not for you to decide any of that. You can assume if you want. I don't know how that's going to serve you, aside from creating more hurt than you already have. Okay? Card number 15, Maximus. How can you feed others when your own table is empty? Oh, well, shit. Don't eat then. I don't know why that just offended me. What the fuck? How can you feed others when your own table is empty? Wow. Wow. So I'm wondering if this kind of ties into another very common logic of they're so wounded and I just need to heal them. I just need to help them and heal them. And what about your wounds? Have you addressed your wounds? Have those been healed that you now have the luxury of healing someone else? Focus on yourself. Focus on your growth. Focus on healing the things that cause you to believe that you need to heal someone outside of yourself. That not only do you need to do this, that you have some sort of authority to do it. You don't have that kind of authority. I don't have that kind of authority. But Emmie, you heal people. No, I don't. I assist people in their self-healing journey. No, but Emmie, you really heal people. No, I don't. What you're witnessing is someone else's belief in me suspending their disbelief in themselves. That's all that's happening. They believe in me so much that they forget to not believe in themselves. They're so focused on believing in me that I now can override their disbelief in themselves. I'm just an assistant. All I'm doing is assisting. And I can't assist if I'm not asked to. Because when you do that without first being asked to, you're now assuming. You're taking on the role of something that you probably don't have permission to do. We're not here to heal other people, even if it's a twin flame, twin ray. I don't care what it is, unless you're asked to. You are robbing them of potentiality. You are robbing them of an elevation of their consciousness and understanding of their self and their soul. That's not love. That's domination. That's not love. Okay? So you have to be obedient to your own soul. This is not obedience to someone else. When your soul tells you to give someone space, to give someone time, you don't then turn around and look for reasons as to why that's not an accurate message. Why, no, it's right for you to meddle in someone else's journey. It's not right. I can never, ever, ever sit here quietly while you make that assumption about what I'm saying. I'm not saying to meddle in anyone's journey. I'm saying, remember your obedience to yourself. If your soul asks you to move forward, then you move forward. Stop second guessing and second guessing and second guessing. Doubt is not the same thing as questioning. Disbelief. It's okay for you to question once, maybe twice, ask for confirmation. But when you consistently tell your soul, no, that can't be right, send me another, send me another, send me another confirmation, send me another sign, your soul is going to be like, child, you so full of shit. I can't get through. And it's at that point you leave yourself susceptible to parasitic things, giving you information that's just fictitious. Fictitious. So, deceit. For some of us, we're allowing our lack of belief in ourselves to open the path, the doorway that leads to the pathway that makes deceit possible on an energetic and soul level. Don't deceive yourself. You're going to grow no matter what. You're going to grow no matter what, whether a specific person is present or not. I think this message is more about those of us who have allowed our ego, our hurt ego, to cause us to shun the very things that we need to further ripen our understanding of ourselves. This is not a reading trying to encourage you to hold on to something toxic, justifying the toxicity and abuse of self, abuse of others because of some label. This is not what this reading is. I can't control how this reading is received, but if that's how you're trying to receive this, I'm telling you right now, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to hear that last part that I just said or not. So this is about the mind reaching a level of maturity. You're going from this state to this. Look at the difference. Look at how many twin flames there are on that mind. Like, oh, that person's my turn. Oh, that person's my turn. Oh, no, that person's, oh, no, this one is the real one this time. I don't know. I don't know. We all go through our own struggles. We all go through periods of disbelief. We go through these periods of disbelief so that we can better understand the guidance of our soul. Hey, I mean, we really got to take a look at the difference between these two. Going from desperately seeking out this fire and then being upset that we get burned in the end. Oh, look at here. There's no fire here. This is just a reclamation of all your colors, all your parts, seeing yourself as whole once again, recognizing, look at that, that's a freaking snake eating its own tail. Ouroboros, this is you consuming yourself. Round and round and round, round and round you go. And when you recognize that's what you're doing in this state, it then becomes a beautiful boundary. You're no longer willing to compromise yourself. You are instead focused on reclaiming all of your power and all the different shades of being. You see the beauty in yourself. You allow yourself to blossom. You allow yourself to just be. And notice how they're both alone. They're both alone. Because this is a journey of the self. It was never meant to be a journey of like, I need someone else with me. A lot of the times where tremendous amounts of drama and strife and just bullshit betrayal has happened in my life, those times that it's happened to me were times where I convinced myself that I needed someone else present. I'm not talking about romantic either. I'm talking about soul journey, my purpose, my business. I convinced myself that I needed someone present. Why is that? This is a solo journey. I'm not supposed to be in some sort of business partnership with someone else. Because when I do that, if I have someone else present, it makes it so much easier for me to not give myself the credit that I deserve. Instead, I pass it off to someone else. Like, oh, it's because of you. It's because of your hard work. I mean, never mind that I never take a day off and I work maybe 16 hours a day. Like, no, never mind that. I mean, that's just my normal. No, it's because of you. Which is bullshit. Recognizing that now, and that's why I'm not allowed to work with other people, because it becomes so easy for me to dismiss my own growth. So when you apply this to the whole twin flame, twin ray journey and subject matter, I don't know, maybe some of us don't need the other person present, because then our focus shifts from our growth to theirs. That's an assumption you're taking. You're assuming power and responsibility over something that belongs to another sovereign. And you cannot claim your sovereignty so long as you don't respect the sovereignty of others. Because if you claim your sovereignty, being the utmost authority within your life and your auric space, but you can't respect the sovereignty of others, that means you think you're a monarch, a spiritual monarch, that you're above. And you get to dictate to others. And that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. So this is about deciding, are you going to step into a place of sovereignty within yourself where you can allow things to shift enough for people to come forward, for people to depart, whatever it is your soul needs, whether you need someone present, whether your soul needs them away, whatever it is, I'm going to allow myself to shift, to really be in this beautiful dance within my space, within my journey, within my soul, where I'm not rigidly holding on to some boxes with labels and, you fit here nicely, you fit there nicely, we're going to organize this. The truth of creation is it's chaos. Order comes from chaos. Chaos is cosmos. What else is cosmos? The heavens. It's referred to as the heavens. It's divinity. Divinity is chaotic. It's the human mind that needs the linear. The pathway of soul is not linear. It's not a line. It's not even a dotted line. It's a huge jumble of tangled lines that form webs, and these webs get thicker and more dense until it becomes the fabric of your life. It's about all the intertwining with other people's paths. Some will stay with you forever. Others will stay momentarily. You didn't get a say in any of that. You really, really don't. So instead of fighting things that are already divinely ordered by your soul, no one else, why don't you begin fighting your own defiance to your path, where every time an insecurity pops up and you don't want to move forward, you tell yourself, look, we already did this bullshit. We're not wasting our time again, okay? We're just going to keep moving forward. We will develop an understanding as we go through our process. We don't have to be so bratty with ourselves that we need everything explained to us and a diagram and a fucking animated video to help us understand, because unless we fully understand, then we're not moving forward. That's up to you. If you need that, you're going to be crippled in your growth. You're just going to be crippled in your growth, because by the time you understand what you think you understand, your consciousness has shifted. And as your consciousness shifts, even if it's 1 degree at a time, the path, the trajectory of your journey shifts right along with it. So by the time you understand a 15-point shifting, you will have shifted 50 degrees. And I mean, that's a pretty, you're not going there and you're like over there. Well, good luck. Now you're going the wrong way. Now you're going the wrong way. And this is why we have to just have obedience to our soul. No one else. No like deities, no ascended masters, no like spiritual groups. Like I have to call in my group. I have to call in my guides. I have to call the ascended masters and the angels. Fuck that shit. You have to call in yourself and your common sense. Y'all see Michael or hear me talking to Michael all the time, pretty much every single live stream. Now, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's going to be reaping the consequences of whatever bullshit I get myself into. Thank you for your input, Michael. I'm going to decide for myself. Because if I'm going to be in trouble, if I'm going to go suffer through shit, it's going to be because I put myself there, not because I listened to Michael. And maybe if I listened to him a little bit more, I probably wouldn't get myself into so much bullshit. Hey, double-edged sword, that's fine, sovereignty. Okay, so I hope this message clarifies for whoever needed whatever clarity. I really wish I would have been able to see the comments and interact with you guys in that way. I hope that you guys understand. I need to be insulated at this time. It's just too much. Too much has happened where I just feel like my space has been so beyond violated. by specific things. So I have to insulate, and I hope you guys can understand and respect that. I will still continue to go live. If me insulating still doesn't work, then I will have to just take a hiatus until I find another way to be able to present information, messages to you guys without having my sacred space disrespected and basically raped. You know, I'm not okay with that. I haven't been okay with that. I've been trying to quietly endure it and be professional and still show up. And at this point, I really have to just choose myself and my emotional, mental, spiritual health. I do really, really value you guys. So I want to still be able to show up. I just have to be creative in the way I do. So if you could please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. Join me when I'm live or when it's recorded. I love you guys. Bye.